Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson. And thank you for each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, Andrew Ellis is out, so we're going to have a great show here today on this Monday. Get to so many different things that are going on from the reactionary side of things of the weekend. We'll have a little best and worst of the weekend presented by Looper Auction and Realty. We'll do a vibe checking of the chat presented by our friends over at Basis Health. We're also going to, of course, get into some basketball news, some football news. We'll do some crazy headlines from the weekend, according to BetSaracen, and some summer topics for some fun with Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. But hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Curtis, how's the vibes today on a Monday? How was the weekend?
The weekend wasn't great, man, but the vibes are pretty strong here on a Monday. You know how it is, man. Sick dog combined with a very, very pregnant wife. I'm fine, but everybody in the house is very, very uncomfortable. So I kind of have a little bit of guilt going on right now, but it's definitely been kind of a sleepless weekend. I'm a little bit delirious, but I think that's when I'm at my best. So I'm looking forward to the show today.
I've always said when I did radio all the time for so many years, I don't know if it was true or not, but it felt like the days that I was so tired and delirious was always my best work. I don't know if it's because I go into like a whole new reality in my mind and I just start spouting hot takes, but I think there's some truth to that though. I really do.
Yeah. Well, we're about to find out. That's for sure.
Yeah, we are. So we'll get into the chats again, folks, and have plenty of things to discuss because there was a lot of things going on in the sports weekend. I'm just glad to be back in Arkansas and be back in the comfort of my very own home here at the studios. I felt like I was, it was a full week for sure, but just driving all over the place and, finally getting back to where, as far as travel goes, I think we'll be pretty much done for a while here from covering sports and whatnot. It was a great week, but just nice to be back in Arkansas and to be back into the heat that is going on here in Arkansas here in late July as well.
Yeah, it's definitely hot outside. Summer has officially arrived. It's kind of funny when like through April and May, and it just felt like it was raining, hailing, tornadoes, storming every single day. And I remember tweeting out and being like, "Are we even going to have a summer?" And so many people were doing a thing. You're like, you're going to remember this in a few weeks when it's 110 degrees outside. You can't breathe when you walk out your front door. Yeah, you guys are right. It's brutal out there right now, man. But yeah, I'm sure it's good to be back. I know that SEC Media Day is a fun trip and there's a lot of cool people out there and some interesting stuff going on. But now the travel is the fun stuff. Like if we're going somewhere, it's going to a game. You're right. Maybe we'll go see this football team play somewhere and maybe we'll do basketball media day. And that's always a good time. But now it's the good stuff. I enjoy traveling more for games than I do some of these other things for sure.
Yeah, because it's actual games that matter and not just a bunch of talking. Yeah,
exactly. We're there for a very, very good purpose. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get into some different, of course, from sports world in Arkansas and everything too. But I wanted to get into this because, with Arkansas, as we talked about last week, Arkansas got picked to finish 14th in the SEC at SEC Football Media Days last week. And it's not surprising, just where it's at. But now they got 16 teams. Some people will say, well, that's about right, or that's about where Arkansas belongs. And it comes into this question of what's Arkansas's expectation? Where do they expect to be in the SEC? Where do they expect to be ranked? It should be higher, lower, wherever. But I found this pretty fascinating because The Athletic, there's always these lists that come out, and some of them are just opinion-based, some of them are formulaic. But The Athletic came out with a pretty fascinating list earlier this morning where they ranked the top 25 most valuable college football programs heading into this upcoming season. Not of all time, just right now heading into this year. And what they did, they used a methodology that contained real live pro transactions over the last 3 years with NFL and NBA sales ratios to SEC and Big Ten schools. So they used a kind of like a power base of the professional sports leagues and were able to go in when it comes to prestige, championships, facilities, population, realignment scenarios, also there. And kind of a way of like, hey, what would the program sell for? Like if it was a professional thing. I want to get your thoughts, Curtis, because I don't know if I'm surprised by this, but if you were to guess the number one overall most valuable college football program going into this year, which one would you say it would be?
Texas.
Texas. Yes, you're right. Texas. In fact, it's not even close. $2.38 billion is what it's valued at if you're Texas.
$2.3 billion?
That's what they valued at. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's high.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Wow.
Well, on the higher side, Georgia,
Okay.
on the other hand, is second at 1.92 billion, and Ohio State is ranked at 1.9 billion. Notre Dame at 1.85 billion, and Michigan at 1.83 billion. So,
Dang.
yeah, kind of gives you the idea of like those top 5 programs that maybe drive the television markets and everything. I mean, it kind of makes sense of where the top 5's at.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Those numbers are high. I thought that you were going to be talking in the hundreds of millions range. I didn't think we were going to get anybody up over $1 billion. So I'm kind of blown away right now. Uh, the money that goes into this is it's freaking absurd. But I think that makes sense. Those schools right there. I was getting ready to say Ohio State actually, and I was like, nah, Texas. But in the back of my mind, Notre Dame, I kind of thought about too, just with their global, impact with the Catholic Church and everything like that. But I think that tracks.
Yeah, it does. And to the point, because obviously people are like, well, who gives a rip about those 5 programs? Yes, absolutely. Arkansas is listed in the top 25 for the most valuable college football programs heading into this season. They rank 23rd at $646 million. Now, the next follow-up question y'all are going to have is, well, where's that rank in the SEC? The SEC, that ranks 10th out of 16 teams, 10th when it comes to the overall value of college football programs. So, Curtis, I want your reaction. We'll get to, I know people's chats too later, but are you surprised by that, where it's at high, low, about right when it comes to just the valuation of a college football program at Arkansas?
I don't know if I'd say surprised. Maybe a little bit. I think I'm kind of pleased. I think that Arkansas is on that list. Who are the SEC teams above Arkansas?
Well, the SEC teams, as we mentioned, Texas being number 1, which, yeah, they are Texas, and then Georgia being number 2. Alabama's at number 6. Then Oklahoma's at number 7. Tennessee is at number 9. LSU is at number 10. So SEC has 6 of the top 10 teams. Not surprising.
Sounds about right.
Then you have Florida at number 12. Auburn at number 13. Texas A&M at number 15. And then the next SEC team listed is Arkansas at 23rd.
Okay. Interesting. That's kind of funny because doesn't that track with usually how this goes in terms of, let's just talk about the football programs and where these teams wind up ending up. And yeah, it seems like 6 SEC teams are in the top 10 pretty much every single year. And then you wind up having 8 or 9 or more in the top 25. And it's weird. Like the schools, the programs that have the money are the ones that do a high level of winning. So then my question as a flip around to you, John, is, well, we talk about expectations and, what Arkansas should be on a year in, year out basis and everything. What if they just tracked along with their money? Like, what if Arkansas was just consistently as a football program around, 10th in the SEC, but that's usually good for the back end of the top 25. That's not settling for mediocrity. It's like slightly above mediocre, or that's certainly above mediocre if you're a top 25 program.
See, and that's what I have always looked at it as, where you got the money, it's a valuation there. And it's not like, okay, this is 100% the market value. It's the Athletic putting together a formula, but they at least had some logic behind it. That's where it always felt when it came to recruiting rankings. If Arkansas had a top 25 recruiting ranking, it's like, great, but since you're 10th in the SEC, you're not really going to crack the top 25 much in the real world because you're going to lose to teams. Like, even though you put Arkansas in a different conference and they could do this, but because it's in the SEC, you may not get the attention and everything paid for you. But as I've always put it, though, and you can use this in recruiting rankings, you can use this in evaluations or whatever, just because you're 23rd and you're 10th in the SEC, doesn't mean that, okay, well, you're just so far away from 22nd. Like, the margin between 15 and 23 is not that high. Like, it's significant enough to have one team ranked ahead, but it's not like so far away, unachievable, can't ever have it happen in every so often year. Because if you realize it, I did not mention Ole Miss being ahead of Arkansas. Arkansas is ahead of Ole Miss. Now, they haven't been on the field here recently, but they have been. In fact, Ole Miss has been ahead of a lot of those programs listed. Like, Oklahoma is a top 10. I mean, they have not looked like a top 10 program over the past few years. Texas A&M is ranked 15th. I mean, have they looked like the 15th program in the country? No. But that's what it comes down to is it's a matter of, are you set for success? Yes. Okay. Now you have to have the right people. Now you have to have the right pieces, and you have to have the right leadership. You have to have the right everything to go along with it. And to me, that has been like, say what you want about what you think Arkansas should be, wins, losses, and expectations. My thing is, what does it come down to all the time in college athletics? Who's got money? Doesn't mean it's always going to guarantee you a championship, but you can't be a team in the 50s and expect to win a championship. It's just not going to happen. So what do? You got to be able to showcase to coaches, to players, to whoever, hey, we are a program, financially speaking, that is set up for success. We just need you and the right people to come in.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's the biggest thing about it there is, based on this formula, then Arkansas has top 25 value and top 25 resources. Therefore, that should equate to the ability to consistently be a top 25-ish football program, but they're not. And then you have to wonder, okay, well, what's going on with those resources? How are those things being allocated? What are we doing with this value that we have to devalue it as it pertains to the product that winds up going out there on the field? And so you're 100% right, man. And it's a question then of who needs to be in place to maximize that, because they're doing whatever the opposite of maximizing it is right now.
Well, to take it a step further, because I think this is where it's really going to start adding up. You're the basketball guy. So if this list randomly, just off the top of your head, if it was to come out of the most valuable college basketball programs in the country and SEC and everything, where would you, and just again, not we don't know the formula, but just where would you guess or feel like Arkansas would rank as far as a basketball program goes in evaluation going into this season? Not overall, but going into this season.
SEC or just in general?
Both.
I would say probably second, maybe third in the SEC, and top 10 nationally.
Yeah. So what's the expectation for Razorback basketball then? Being in that.
Exactly that. It is literally exactly that.
Yeah. And you can say the same thing about Razorback baseball. Well, where are they value? Well, they value, pretty high, probably top 10, and probably one of the ones in the SEC. And where do they normally finish? Where does it normally pop up? The point is it's not the direct correlation where it's a guarantee, hey, you're here and you're going to be here. It's just, if you take a look at all the programs that usually have the most consistent success, those are the programs that are going to be the highest in their valuation and in their money and in their spending and in their abilities to compete at the highest level. I don't think there's anything crazy about it.
Yeah, it's 100% right. And Kingsley, I see him here. He says evaluation doesn't equal total resources. They're not trying to say that we have this money on hand, only that this is the estimated value of the program. Well, therein lies the problem, right? Therein lies the problem. If based on all these formulas and everything that they're putting into place here for this valuation, and that says that you should be valued as a top 25 program in the country, when clearly that's not the case. I mean, we can all see the obvious as it pertains to this football program. Then what's the disconnect? What's missing? Why is that all not in hand? And why is this not the case for other people who are in similar situations to Arkansas that are thriving with these valuations, or like in the case of Ole Miss, where they're not valued to have, to be in this same ballpark or same area? Hell, who knows? Maybe they're 26th. I don't know. But they're doing way better than Arkansas is in terms of their football program, churning out some success there. Like this is the entire point. I don't think we ever said that this is like a foolproof concept here, that these were, legitimate, factual, 100% spot on numbers or anything like that. But what they're saying right there in terms of Arkansas's estimated value does not coincide with what they look like on the field. And it hasn't for a long time now.
No. And I don't really know if it's going to change. And if you look at the top 25, there's some teams that are just like Arkansas, where they may be not like known for their powerhouse program going into this year, but the vast majority of the top 25 programs in there are programs that are good and solid and have had success. I mean, I mentioned like Penn State is at 11th. This is outside the SEC, but Oregon's at 14th. Washington's at 16th. Florida State at 18. Wisconsin at 19. Iowa's at 20. Clemson's at 22, just slightly ahead of you. So it's not like, there's a bunch of other programs in that mix too that have just fallen short. Like you're one of those programs that is in the mix with other programs that have had success, more sustainable success over the past 5 years, 10 years than you have. And that's what makes, I think, really frustrating for Razorback fans in general, and especially of the football side of things. They're like, hey, we it's not like we're making this up and we're living in our own fantasy land over here that we deserve to be one of the best or better program than this. And everyone's like, well, dude, you're down there low on the totem pole. Relax. It's like, no, evaluations in the list that always comes out. And I don't even think it's just this one. We've seen many lists like this that have come out, and Arkansas is usually pretty consistent in the top 25 when it comes to those valuations. So that's my whole thing of, if anybody tells you it's like, oh, well, you're just a little Arkansas, you can't do anything. Well, financially speaking, at least most of the time, it looks like you can. You just don't.
And that also adds to the layer of questioning here, because John, I've heard you say it a million times, like, where is the money going? Because we do hear, and I saw this from Gray Wolf. He said, "Goodness, it's the coach. Why beat around the bush?" Well, the coach has said it's the money.
Yeah.
Like that's been his stump for the longest here about, we don't have the money, we can't compete, we're getting outbid. These guys want more than we think they're valued at, if we're talking about valuations here. And then it was all about this revenue share and can that close the gap? And there's a lot of debate as to whether or not that's actually taking place or not, or if they're even, in a position where they have all those funds to maximize that revenue share. So we can blame it on Sam all we want. And maybe if there's a different coach in there or something, and that adds some more excitement or whatever, then those things would even out a little bit. I don't know, but I don't know that this is something that I can just place at the feet of Sam Pittman solely. I think it's quite a bit deeper than that.
And that's my point too, because I agree. I don't think that you could just say, well, Sam Pittman, you cut that off, and then suddenly the program's just fine and it's great. It's like, no, it's a deeper thing, especially when it comes to that financial situation. Texas A&M is a great example. Like, they're 15th. Okay. They have a lot of money, a lot of value. Is it always just, well, it's a bad coach? It's like, no, sometimes it can be things like having the right roster management. Sometimes it's about having the right assistants. Sometimes it's about having the right culture. Sometimes it's about the systems in place. I mean, there's just so many different variables that go into it. It's not as simple sometimes, at least in the idea of the finances, like we're talking about here, to just be like, well, yeah, because the reason Arkansas is not winning is just Sam Pittman, and that's it. It's like, yeah, you got to have everybody be good. I mean, you can have a great head coach, but if you have crappy assistants, it's not going to matter. You can have a great head coach or a bad head coach, or a great head coach and a bad AD may be a problem. I mean, there's just so many factors that go into it besides just head coach bad and everything's fine once he moves on.
I don't know if this was an exact quote, but I think it was something along the lines of this when John Calipari said at his intro press conference, something like, coaches or teams win games, but administrations win championships. Is that?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was something very similar to that, like an direct quote there. Maybe he's onto something.
I mean, it's hard to argue at this point in time, that's for sure. So, but yeah, fascinating. We'll start here on the show. I know we'll have some other things to get into. We'll get into your chats, folks, as well, and we'll also have some basketball talk to get into. But let's go ahead and jump into our vibe checking of the chat, presented by friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health. They're here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the chat here on the show. We got Hunt OZK was saying, y'all may have covered, but how do we ensure that our ticket prices are also ranked 14th in cost? I actually don't know. I'm sure there's a list somewhere you could look at ticket prices, comparatively speaking, among all SEC football programs. But I don't know. I feel like Arkansas is still one of the lower ones, to be honest. I could be wrong, but I feel like they're probably still one of the lower ones in the SEC.
Probably so for football. I think it was Hutch that did an article at Best of Arkansas Sports when they were doing the Bud Walton reseeding, just about like season ticket prices and everything, but that was all basketball related, which Arkansas, it's just a completely different story from that standpoint. And they're much, much higher there. Yeah. Football, that's a good question. And it is very cyclical. Like if this was the year where Arkansas was competing for the college football playoff, that'd be a really tough ticket to get. Or if it was the year coming off of that, right now, when, there seems to be at least some level of apathy that's set in, probably not that hard to get in there, I would imagine. You guys tell me. I don't buy tickets for the football games. I'm a snooty media member, so
Yeah. Well, I was looking at just a quick Google search and everything, and according to, I guess this is 24/7 Sports, they were just going through of the highest and lowest average ticket prices in the SEC kind of thing.
Okay.
And what was kind of crazy is just how they basically did by the average cheapest ticket for the games and what it was listed at and everything. And Arkansas is not the highest, but they're not the lowest. They're pretty much kind of close there in the middle. But like Oklahoma, for instance, is at at $88 per ticket, which happens to be one of the more expensive tickets in the SEC. Ole Miss is at $79. But Texas is at $73. Florida's at $70. Missouri's at $65. LSU at $65. You're probably like, well, why? How has that happened? Why are they getting ranked? Well, sometimes it's about the size of the stadiums too, and the amount of marquee home games. But the point is that I think that ticket prices and where it stands, and you got to throw in donations of how much those are to get those ticket prices. I still believe Arkansas is some of the cheaper ones in the SEC, but I think somebody will probably put out a list here soon about it.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be the case. And yeah, you're right. It's also about opponents and everything like that. I bet this year when you do have Notre Dame coming in, that's going to be a hotter ticket than whoever came in for non-conference last year, UAB and whoever the hell else it was. So it's kind of hard to find a fair average on that, I think.
Yeah. At least it just needs to be, if you find an actual ticket to the game, I don't even know if they do physical tickets anymore, but if they did, just like what the ticket price at the top is, and it'll be like, okay,
Exactly.
that's how much the tickets are. Let's see. Also, we got Evan just saying, I'm heading to the Battle of Branson this week, guys, claiming Silver Dollar City for Arkansas.
What'd you think about that? Are you all for making this the battle for Branson instead of the battle line rivalry? Arkansas and Missouri putting a small tourist city on the line?
Absolutely. I felt like that as soon as the game was announced that they were trying to do a rivalry thing. I was like, yeah, just make it for the winner gets Branson. Just call it that. Winner gets Branson for the year and get a free trip over there. But yeah, Eli Drinkwitz was all about it. He wants it. He seems like a Branson guy. He probably enjoys it over there.
He definitely seems like a Branson type of guy. Yeah, a little Dixie Stampede action. Yeah, Silver Dollar City with the kiddos. I could see it.
Yeah, Yakov Smirnoff or whatever his name is going to the shows. Yeah, I could totally see it. Brady says, if the SEC keeps giving us one of the toughest schedules, it won't matter who we get to coach us.
Yeah, I mean, an SEC schedule is just going to kind of be tough anyway. Like, I get it. People look at Missouri's schedule and they get pissed off at that, comparatively speaking. Some of Arkansas's problem has been self-inflicted, though, with the game in Little Rock and then with the game in Arlington every year. That's taken away from the home schedule, and they're trying. I mean, I think that's going to be rectified to a degree now, but I'm worn out on that schedule conversation and the woe is us thing. This is the SEC, man. I mean, if you want to compete in this league, if you think you're good enough to be in this league, you can't be pissing and moaning about the schedule every single year. Eventually, you just got to be good enough to win football games and overcome that kind of stuff. It's like when people do the thing about, and it very well may be true. I understand that coming into this year where people are doing like there's a chance that Arkansas could be a better football team, but have a worse record than I'm tired of hearing that. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. You want to be here. You're in this pre-merit conference. You beat your chest about it. SEC this, SEC that. It just means more. Compete like you belong in it. I hate the excuse making because then anytime somebody's like, oh, well, maybe they should just go to the Big 12 or maybe they don't belong there. They should go somewhere else. And then everybody's up in arms with their pitchforks out at anybody that says that. You can't have it both ways. The schedule is going to be hard. It's a hard league, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's times where you could say, for instance, like basketball, Razorback basketball, you play everybody once. So there's that. And there is a little bit more of rotations, but let's be honest, for years, I know it changed because adding Texas and Oklahoma, but for years, your permanent opponents that you play twice a year have been Missouri, LSU, and A&M. Okay. Not Kentucky, not Alabama, not Auburn, not Florida. That's pretty favorable more often than not. Like this upcoming season, I think was that you play Auburn twice, but you play LSU twice and you play Missouri twice. It's like that's as fast favorable as you can ask. So no, how come no one brings up schedule when it comes to the basketball side of things too? Now I know that they'll be like last year you played at Tennessee and at Kentucky and all those things, and we'll talk about it. But I just don't think that I even talked about it with Greg Sankey. There's just no way to make everybody happy in that. And, when Arkansas was winning, like in the Bobby Petrino years, I don't remember ever having a discussion about, oh man, but the schedule. It's like, no, you're winning games because you don't care who you play. It's like, we're going to win.
No, for sure. And with the football stuff, like you've got some really tough road games this year. Most of those games were at home last year, but I'm not discounting it. It's a very difficult schedule. It always is. It's complicated by having Notre Dame coming in. That's a really tough game, but it's awesome. Like that's what you want to see. And you're going on the road to Memphis. That's risky. It's dangerous. So overall, yeah, it's really tough, but I can't get too up in arms, if I'm being honest, about an SEC schedule that doesn't include Alabama or Georgia for a second year being like this most difficult, unfair thing in the world. I think you're avoiding the two just traditional and most consistent powers in this conference for multiple years. Okay. Because if you replace somebody else off of this schedule, you're probably getting one of them. It's just kind of the way that it is.
Mm-hmm. And as I always like to bring up too, the years that you did have your quote easiest schedule, just unfortunately was the Chad Morris years, because you had Colorado State and it was your big non-conference game. And then the two East opponents at the time that you played were Kentucky and Vanderbilt. So it was like, if you were going to have an easy schedule, it was those years. But the problem is, it didn't matter how easy the schedule was. You were still going to go 2-10.
It's not like I want to open up old wounds here or pour salt into them or whatever, but I'll never forget how drastic of a swing it was for me when Arkansas was at Colorado State. And, they were up big in that game, and it was Colorado State. It's whatever. But I just remember for so long throughout that game, I was like, damn, man, this might be onto something here. Like this Chad Morris guy, maybe they're going to figure it out. It will give them some time. They're going to be, and then when they blew it, it was over for me at that very point. And man, just downhill from there. But I remember being on the highest of highs of like, heck yeah, man, they've done something good here. I like where this is trending. To, oh no, this might not go well at all, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's funny because in my mind, mine was a different feeling of that, because I was still so optimistic about everything most of the time then. And when they lost it in the way that they lost it, my immediate reaction, because it was so new. I mean, what was it? Game 2 of Chad Morris, I think, game 2 or 3 of his tenure. So I was still in my mind just immediately being like, okay, well, Colorado State is. Maybe they're just better than what people thought. Maybe they're really good.
Was their Super Bowl. SEC team going into that's how I felt.
I was like trying to justify of how I could make this make sense of no, it has to. It's got to be an explanation here. Like it's not just Arkansas's bad. I mean, come on, they don't lose. It had to be the officiate the way the atmosphere. It was way too up there in the mountains. They couldn't breathe. It was just too much in the mountain range.
That was a big part of the justification for me. I was like, oh, they wore down late, they collapsed. Yeah, it was the altitude, man. It really got them there. But I should, if I'm being honest, like that was the big it raised my brow of being like, dang, man, I don't know. I don't really feel great about that. But it was the North Texas deal the next week where, I mean, at that point, if you didn't know where this was headed, I mean, you sipped the sweetest of Kool-Aid, man. That was brutal.
Still on Instagram and TikTok, sometimes I'll just see that stupid punt, catch punt thing. Yeah. I remember being so mad because I'm like, hey, you better go and knock that dude's head off the next time he does it. And then they never did. But it's just, man. That's a great reminder of, hey, Razorback fans, if you're ever mad and upset, not saying you'll be okay with it because you always say it could be worse, but just remember how horrible that was.
Yeah, it has been worse.
Oh man, yeah, like not players themselves, but just the team getting booed when they ran back out onto the field because of just how awful everything was. So pretty rough. Let's not go back to those days anytime soon. Let's just not do it. No. I know we'll get some basketball talk here too, but Brady also said the time is total unknown how much improved the O-line will be and how long it will take to get Talon used to the new receivers and how well they do in the SEC.
Yeah, it is. It's very much an unknown, man. And it's, that's how it just, I think it kind of makes it depend on what type of fan you are. Like if you're the glass half empty or glass half full, because some people with these unknowns, they look at it with that optimism, right? And it's like, well, hey, he's got some new targets. He's not going to have to be fixated on Andrew Armstrong all the time. Oh yeah, he'll probably be able to spread it out. They got these new guys on the offensive line, so maybe he won't be running for his life, and that's cool. And then people on the flip side of are like, they lost literally all their production at wide receiver. We don't see a clear replacement for Andrew Armstrong. We've replaced multiple guys on the offensive line year in and year out for the entire Sam Pittman tenure. Why are we going to expect it to be so much better right now with these new guys developing chemistry with each other? You can really be on either extreme. I'm just kind of in wait and see mode. I really am. Like I'm optimistic that they could be improved offensively, and I know there's a lot of chatter about that. I think the consensus is people feel like Arkansas will be better offensively and probably worse defensively than they were last year. And depending on how much on either side, they can tell you how if you're a better football team or not. I tend to agree that they might not be as good defensively throughout the course of the year. Offensively, I'm not sure if I can go there just yet on them being massively improved. I think Taylor Green can be a much better quarterback. But yeah, there's a lot of questions that have to be answered on that line with his targets, the running back situation. There's a lot of questions. You just need a good handful of them to be answered positively.
I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to predictions and going into a season and the crazy occurrences of having new players and everything, there's assumptions being made. And I'm one of them. I mean, you just assume as a person who watches the games and, looks at the players or listens to us or listens to other outlets or whatever, there's this assumption of like, okay, well, every player is going to be better, because a year of development, they get better. It's like there's that assumption. It's not always the case. Now, it could be marginal improvement. It could be major improvement. I mean, last year, I think we all felt like, man, this linebacker room looks, this is going to be rough. And it ended up being better than what maybe we thought. But just because, we just know, they got Corey Robinson. They got this kid who played center at UCF. It's going to be better. It's like, could be, yeah. But there's just a lot of assumption in that just because, okay, well, they came in and they played this position at their school last year. So therefore they should be just fine. Well, that's, again, a lot of assumptions. And we know what assuming does to us all.
That's right.
All right. So I know we'll get to some more chats. We'll also get into some basketball talk here in a second, but let's go ahead and talk to you about our friends over at Hickey and Hull Law. We know that divorce and custody cases are just far too important to try and face alone. So let Hickey and Hull Law provide you with persistent and diligent representation, help guide you through the entire process. They have handled thousands of family law cases and have experienced nearly every scenario that may come up. They push for the case to go forward for their clients, advocating for them in a diligent and consistent manner from start to finish. And they know that every case that they take is important, and they strive to give each and every one of them the utmost care and time that it deserves. So Hickey and Hull Law offices, they're all across the state of Arkansas, in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. You can call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website at hickeyandhull.com. You can scan that QR code on your screen right now as well. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. All right. So I know a lot of people, we've talked some football, but a lot of people also are interested in the basketball side of things. Because I don't know if you knew this, Curtis. Apparently, J.J. Andrews had a nice weekend. It was a Peach Jam MVP and everything. It was in all the papers. And I know it was discussed plenty of times with Pod at the Palace and everything. But Cody was coming in. He's like, hey, when's the next recruiting update? Ready for J.J. to get that 5th star already. Dude had a monster summer.
He did have a monster summer, man. He was really, really good. I don't know. He's got to be on a short list of the biggest stock risers from the beginning of the grassroots season to the end. He's been awesome. And you're talking about that 5th star. I'm just going to tell you right now, rivals ain't doing it. And so you guys can go ahead and get preemptively pissed off about that. I can just tell by the way, I saw their write up this morning that they named JJ Andrews their personal MVP for Peach Jam, as he should be, because he was the best player on the best team there. But of all the guys they listed, they've got JJ as the MVP, and they're openly critiquing JJ's game. It's like, so you're openly admitting he's the best player there, and you're taking a dump on his chest about the way that he was playing. It just doesn't make any sense. For whatever reason, they're just not JJ Andrews fans. Their national team, at least. So I do not expect that rivals on 3, they're combined now. I'm not sure which one of them do the high school rankings. They're just not going to do it. ESPN's already got him as a 5-star. I would imagine 24/7 Sports will give him that 5th star as well. He certainly earns it. I hope that on 3 rivals at least gives him a bump, because they've got him way lower than everybody else. Like, if you don't want to make him a 5-star, in my opinion, you can just meet in the middle and get him up there inside the top 20. Maybe he's one of the first guys with a 4-star or whatever. That'd be okay. But I just don't know how you can deny it, John. Like, to me, you look at a guy with his resume, and when somebody with that resume applies for a job, they get it. I don't think we have to overcomplicate this. This guy's won multiple state championships. He's back-to-back Peach Jam champion. He's the Peach Jam MVP. He looks the part. You know, he's 6'6", and he's chiseled out of grain. He's like built like a dude Thero already. He's improved his shot. He's improved his handle. He's impacting the game in multiple ways. And he wins. He just everywhere that he goes, no matter what area he's competing in, the dude's a winner. And if that doesn't equate to a 5-star, I don't know what does. And then some people will hit you with we do our rankings based on the NBA projectables and everything like that. No, he's not a finished product. You know, he's going into his senior year of high school. But to me, when you're not a finished product and you're still in the development process and you're dominating the highest level of high school basketball year in and year out, what's not projectable about that? He's certainly got the physical tools. Strikes me as a guy that can be a two-way player at the next level. So I don't get it with some of those folks over there. He's a 5-star in my mind. He's an inside Arkansas 5-star. We'll give him that for sure. But he was awesome. The dude played 12 games in 11 days, John. And when you're a big, powerful guard like that, that wears you out. He didn't have any gas left in the tank, and it was probably maybe his worst game that I've seen him play all summer. And he finishes with 20 points and 6 rebounds. So no big deal. It's unbelievable.
When I was so shocked because I know the Peach Jam's a long process. Like it's a pretty much of a grind, but seeing 12 games in 11 days, I thought Omaha was tough, you know, trying to get all those games in. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how conditioned you are, anything like that. I dare anybody in the chat, any of us, anybody out there, hey, go play 12 basketball games in 11 days. Just go do it and in full court, all of that, and just see how it goes. And I'd love to know if anybody even survives half of that. Shows the endurance of not just all those players, but especially somebody like JJ Andrews, which, I mean, it's impressive you get an MVP no matter what, but for that particular event and having to go through all that, to me, that's what makes the MVP even more impressive, because that's resiliency, and that's an endurance that not many people can do, especially at that age.
He's a monster, man. And and he's done this multiple years in a row now. My biggest thing with JJ when it comes to his stock and kind of putting the stamp on his resume, and if people want to give him a 5th star, then, you know, like, fine. He doesn't need that to validate who he is as a player. He's going to come to Arkansas and he's going to be a hell of a Razorback. So we can all be excited and look forward to that. But for me, it's like Peach Jam, it is the mecca of grassroots basketball every single year. And it's grown to the point where these games are on NBA TV with live broadcasters. You know, Fanta and Finkelstein and those guys were on there on the broadcast yesterday. And he's on that stage and he wins MVP and the game ends. And those guys are eating their peaches because that's what they do after those games. And who do they interview after the game? It's JJ Andrews. Whose highlights are they showing after the game? It's JJ Andrews. It was the JJ show, man, and very, very well deserved. I'm pumped up for him, and I love what he said, because they asked him flat out in the interview there right after they won, like, what are people gonna say about JJ Andrews? Like, as you put a bow on your EYBL career, what are people gonna say about you? And he said they're gonna say JJ Andrews is a winner, that he knows how to win. And that's the biggest thing for me. Winning is a skill, man. And he's got it figured out for sure.
Well, and I'm excited because of, obviously, you know, like we talked about the connections and being an Arkansas kid and all that. And maybe this has happened before, but listen, I think he's always been a good player, but has there been a player that has just shot up the attention and ranks and just everything since? Maybe it's because he's Arkansas and he's committed to Arkansas, but I remember before he committed kind of thinking, Arkansas is not in the mix, you know, may go to Missouri. And then just since then, he commits to Arkansas. And then he has all these moments, and he has all these stats and these Peach Jam. It just seems like there's been such a rocket trajectory for him as far as the accolades and the attention and the ability that he has shown.
It's kind of funny, man, because, a year or two ago, he was a guy when they would first put out those rankings for his class, like the initial ones. And I remember him being like top 20 and borderline 5-star at times. And a lot of people wondered, okay, is this going to be a deal like, no shade, but like a Darian Ford or an Honor Boateng, where he's just so much bigger and more physically developed than all these other guys at a young age, and they catch up to him. And, by the time, and also he's not a guy who's gone and played at Montverde or Link Academy or IMG or whatever. And I'm not saying there's not a good level of competition there in Little Rock, but the point is, the Joe Tiptons and Eric Bossies and guys like that, they're not seeing him throughout the whole high school year. So you kind of stay stagnant, whereas those other guys are getting evaluated. So yeah, when it came time for him to announce his commitment, and he was kind of ranked in the the 40s or 50s or whatever, and it was funny because some people were like, "Well, but is he a take though? Like is he a take for Cal?" And I don't think that was ever the question so much as you wondered where he was at on Arkansas's board, like on their list of priorities compared to all these other guys. It turns out he was very, very high up there. Their evaluation was spot on JJ, because he immediately then goes into the EYBL and starts killing it. And all of a sudden he goes from the respected, sturdy 4-star prospect to a lot of people arguing that he should be a top 10 player in the country. So good on him. Good on Cal for a great evaluation there.
I know it's like, doesn't matter until you get on the court, but I'm always very intrigued by any player that is highly ranked. But when you see a player that's built like that and he's not even a college freshman, you're just like, okay, buddy, like what is this? Like, what are you doing here? It's like a Traylon Burks. I remember like just seeing him as freshman. You're like, okay, dude, who is this guy? You don't even look like you're 18. And it's not that. I mean, I don't know JJ Andrews' workout routine and regimen, but I mean, I assume he's probably working more on his game and not just hitting the gym every single day and trying to get bulk and getting max outs. I mean, maybe he is, but point is that sometimes it's just a great example of you're just built. You're just a specimen, and that's what he looks like. And that's why adding it to his skill set and to his game, it makes it a lot easier as a true freshman to walk in and be able to deal with physicality and everything else when you're going to be going up against good SEC teams if you've already got the build that you need to succeed in it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be getting pushed around early as a freshman. Angel said, I think they call him the locomotive. And just in that game yesterday, the championship, he was called locomotive, a bowling ball, a freight train, a semi truck, like all of those things. And then so people automatically go, oh, so he's just playing bully ball. He's just stronger than everybody else. And that's really not true. Like, I think that's a critique that people make anytime there's just a real strong, powerful, physical high school player. But he's really sharpened up his game. Like, his feel is so much better. Despite what some folks like to say, I think he's been a lot better playing off the ball. He's really worked on his shot and honed that in. He needs to work on his right hand. Like that's something that he does need to develop there. But impacts the game in multiple ways, and you can tell that he's getting a lot more comfortable with his basketball IQ and everything that goes into it. So not just a physical, overpowering type of dude. He's got some game in there, and I'm really, really excited to see what the next year holds for him. Probably another state championship, and that'll be like 3 or 4 or however many. And then he'll come to Arkansas with just a pedigree of winning, and you already know. Not only is he an Arkansas guy, but he's got the legacy thing going for him. He is going to be a fan favorite, man. People are going to absolutely love this dude. And he's got the Billy Richmond and early Devo in him, where he's going to be diving for loose balls. He's the hustle guy, the energy guy. Like you can check every box in the fan favorite column for JJ Andrews. He's going to be that guy in Fayetteville.
Well, speaking of Billy Richmond, Big KG says Billy Richmond now listed as a wing on the roster. I think it fits. Not much of a bag with his handles. Hope that jumper comes alive this season.
Hey, listen, as much as Cal's he's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know, but when he calls Billy a point guard, I have a hard time getting there. Love Billy, and he's versatile, and he can definitely defend a point guard. But yeah, this is interesting, and the reason I brought it up is because they made another change on the roster. They keep tweaking the heights and weights and everything, but now instead of like guard, forward, center, or whatever, they've got guards, wings, and forwards listed on their roster. Ooh. And with the wings, you've got Carter Knox, which makes sense.
Yep.
Billy Richmond makes sense. Isaiah Sealy makes sense, and then Kareem Rattel, who we figured out real quick was not a 6'9" power forward as advertised. So nope. There you go. And then the only forwards they have listed are Trevin, Nick, and Malik Ewan. But of course, when Paolo Samito and Elmer Zafich get to town in August, those guys will be listed as well.
Well, and I like the fact that just because you made you think of it, that press conference and practice we had with Cal, and Arkansas just a couple weeks ago when it's just I forgot who asked the question, but was talking about, you got DJ Wagner and obviously with Malik and Acuff and being your point guards and everything. He said, and don't forget Billy now. Billy can play point guard now. It's like, you were just trying, man. You're trying so hard.
You, sir, will never let us forget.
Yeah. Like if this at some point in time, we're going to see him playing some point guard, and it's just funny. And like you said, Cal has forgotten more basketball than any of us even knows, but I just find it so funny how he makes sure that everyone understands and knows. If you ever bring up point guard, and don't forget Billy now. Mm-hmm. Don't forget Billy.
And I know why he does it. It is because if you look at Billy and the way that he plays and his skill set, his pathway to the league would probably involve being a jumbo lead guard, because he's not a knockdown shooter. It's like the 3-and-D wing thing's not really there. But he's such a good defender, and he's switchable, and he can really lock up point guards. We saw him do it all year last year, and he's good enough to where he can lead the break in the open floor. He can initiate the offense without being a true point guard. So he's putting that out there to stick it in the head of NBA scouts and everybody like that. Like, hey, this is something that this kid can do. That's what this is about. But make no mistake, he, in my opinion, is the break glass in case of emergency point guard. Like if Acuff is healthy and DJ Wagner is healthy, we don't need to be seeing Billy Richmond, the point guard, this season. Put him out there on the wing, man. Let him basket cut. Let him fly in for offensive rebounds and dunk on people. That's the Billy Richmond I want to see. That's my world.
Yeah. And just like you said, in case of emergency, that's the only way we want to see it.
Which they had last year. So,
Yeah, it's true. Shout out to our guy Dre. Just says, Billy, stop it. I'm going to see if I got the right one here. Nope. Billy, stop it. There we go. I got to get those labeled. But that's never going to get old, man. The Billy, stop it thing. Still, one day we'll know what Billy said and was saying to those people, and getting that reaction.
Is he going to get the first technical foul of the year? Dude, let me rephrase the question. Who will get the first tech of the year for Arkansas?
Dude, we're hitting up BetSaracen right now and trying to get odds on that.
We got some great contenders, man.
I think, because Brazil was always the one.
Yeah, he's a sneaky a-hole.
Yeah, I still think he got it in him, but the problem is that he's getting so much more mature and more developed. I still think they can bring it out in him. Like, somebody's going to bring it out in him, but I think his odds are going down from what it was maybe a year ago. You know who I'm going to throw out there? I don't think it's going to be one of the transfers. I think it's going to be Ewan. I don't think it's going to be Pringle. I think it's going to be Ewan. I think that guy, somebody's just going to try to get a little too physical with him, and he's just going to shut him down. That would be I'll put the odds at 250 to 1 for Malik Ewan.
I like that. This is wow. And here I was thinking I might be onto something. Ewan was going to be my pick too. And as you said it, Kingsley was putting it in the chat. Dre was putting it in the chat. I think that might be it for sure. He's got a little bit of edge to him, because it would be easy, I think, to look at Nick Pringle and be like, man, this dude he's tough. He's physical. He hits you hard. Maybe he's a little dirty in a good way, just in terms of the way he plays with his physicality. He's going to be the guy getting under people's skin and everything like that. But he's a vet. And he's well spoken. He's very smart. He knows what he's doing. But he's going to be able to do that kind of stuff and get away with it. I think he's really worked a lot on getting control of his emotions and everything like that. Ewan, I think, is definitely good for it. Billy doesn't strike me as a huge tech guy, but if there's a skirmish to be had, he's going to be in the thick of it.
Yeah. He's going to be one of those additional technicals, not like the one that was the main one, but be like, okay, him and him get it because he was coming in. How about this one for a sneaky, kind of like maybe an underrated, valued one? How about Malik Thomas? I think that as a freshman, vets are going to try to push you a little bit. I'm going to show this kid up, and they're going to get into it a little bit. And he's got that personality. He's going to show them up. And being young, I don't know. I could see it also. Somebody like him just kind of trying to establish himself as like, you're not going to push me around. I don't care if you're a 4 or 5 year vet here in college basketball. Like, I ain't going to deal with it. So I feel like Malik Thomas might be my sneaky second pick there.
Yeah, that's a good call on Leak. He's going to talk to you, and he would be the guy who would get the tech for like hitting a step back three in somebody's face and then doing some over the top celebration, and they pop him for it. Like, not getting in a fight, like nothing too demonstrative, but getting right in the guy's face and giving him the 3 goggles or whatever, and then boom, they pop him for one. And Cal's got to take him out and yell at him.
Yeah, either that or talking to the bench, of the other team, something like that. Yeah, I could totally see that. Man, I'm excited for basketball. I know football's coming.
I can't wait, man.
I'm excited for basketball. Let's see. I know we'll have our best and worst of the weekend coming up here in just a little bit, but want to remind everybody that here on Inside Arkansas Live, we're brought to you by our friends over, speaking of, BetSaracen. They are the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. No one does it better than them. And the reason being is because they always have the great specials that you want. And they have future bets, too, for Razorback football. I know that they got the wins and loss totals and everything. And you're going to have it for each and every game this year. You do parlays. You get payouts. It's the best. You'll never go to any other app because there's no point in going one because this one is the best. So check it out today with BetSaracen. Go to BetSaracen.com or check out the BetSaracen app today. A few more chats here before we get to our best and worst of the weekend as well. Hunt Hosey K says, Inside Arkansas charity scrimmage game with Hog basketball, and Inside Arkansas picks 2 hogs of their choice to round out the team.
Oh. So we need we need somebody who can dribble, and then we need somebody who's huge. So
okay, well, who's the best dribbler on the team? Is it DJ? Is it going to be maybe
DJ will give us the veteran presence. A-Cuff and Leak probably have the better separation, playmaking ability. So one of those guys.
Okay.
I think we should go with DJ. Like we're because
so.
The way we're gonna compete in this game is with our brains, our old wise minds. And love it or hate it, DJ Wagner is kind of the unk on the team as far as guys who've been around Cal long enough. So I think that would be the move. Which big man would we take?
So I mean, it just depends on the matchup, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm Trevin Brazil. I'm a Brazil guy. I like the way he can do different things. And I feel like if I miss shots, which I will, if I was ever got the ball at all, but if I did, he'd be there to dunk it home and to do something. I don't know. I feel like Brazil might be my guy.
I think we would need to take Brazil too, because I think the chemistry would be there with TB. Yes. We've known him for years. He knows us. When he sees us, he calls us by name. He'll smile. He'll show a little personality with us. So I think he would enjoy playing with us. And whereas, hey, like a guy like Ewan or whatever, he'd be the focal point of our team, but he doesn't know us like that. He might be mean to us. Like, give me the ball. You guys suck. What's going on? Trevin would be a good teammate in this bunch. So, me, you, Andrew, DJ, and Trevin. How bad will we get beat?
Well, it depends on who we play. I
think it would be maybe the rest of the team.
So that's okay. So is that what it's saying? Okay. Here's the deal: is I think we do get beat, but I think they probably overestimate where they're like, hey, let's just go and double the 2 guys and then just let these other fools go around. But then maybe we get hot, from 3 or something. I have no idea. Like we could hold our own,
It wouldn't be closer than expected at halftime. Then it get a little crazy.
That's right. Or I think what would be more fun if we just took this. This is a great question, by the way. Thanks, Helen ZK. But would be great is if we could do 3 basketball players, 3 Razorbacks, but us 3, but then only 2 have to be on the court at once because we ain't making it. Us 3 aren't. We're not going to have all 3 of us making it the whole time, so we get to rotate. But I feel like we did that, we would be able to have a better situation, a better chance at it. Be more fun.
Now we're talking. Awesome from work. That 5 could beat the KSR guys plus 2 from UK. Yep. Now that's what we need to do.
Yep.
That's exactly what we need to do. Man. In fact, let's hit him up. Hit up your boy Matt Jones, and
I'm sure he'll be totally down for it. I will say though, the one thing that those KSR guys probably have over us is size, because Curtis is our one guy. They got like with Nick Rush, like that dude's like
some big dudes.
Nick's big. Like Matt Jones is not a short guy. Like he's a big dude. He's got some height. I am worried about his physicality, but he at least got some height on him.
Pilgrim looks like he's strong.
Yeah, Pilgrim's stocky. Give him that. Of course, his name just escaped me. Our guy with the beard over there. Oh my gosh, I just lost his name. I am so sorry.
Drew.
Drew, thank you.
Yeah, Drew Franklin.
I want to say Frank, but that's his last name, Franklin. Yeah, Drew Franklin. He's to me, I bet you, but I'm going to be honest. He to me might be I could just tell he's like, that dude's got the skills. Like he's a skill set guy. He may not be the most athletic, but he looks like a guy that probably played a lot.
I think
And
he did. One of them
yeah,
did.
yeah, he just gives that vibes.
I wonder how many guys they're going to send down for that game in Fayetteville. We'll set something up.
Yeah,
We'll have a friendly.
I talked to a few of them over there at SEC Football Media Days. I didn't bring. I think it was just in this one it was Nick, and it was like their football guys. But which, by the way, a little preview on their stuff. They asked me. I think I told you this, Curtis. They went on Thursday. Kentucky went on Thursday with Arkansas. And they're, hey man, do you want to do a quick like back and forth? And but what cracked me up is Nick. Someone asked me. He's like, well, let's just do basketball because none of us care about football right now. I'm like, all right, cool. So he's like, let's do a stand up. So what I did is I had my button up shirt on or whatever. And as soon as I get over there and he starts the interview, I unbutton it and I unveil my DJ Wagner jersey.
Yes.
And I was like, I just wanted to get and then they just died. They're like, are you kidding me? I was like, yep. It's like, I was like, I know Kentucky fans, it's like Hitler, Osama bin Laden, DJ Wagner. But I wanted to show support for the best player on Arkansas, 3J Wagner, as we called him. And man, they were steamed, but it was really good. But that's supposed to come out. They were supposed to come out last week. It's come out here soon. But either way, be on the lookout for that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
If we get this set up, because they play the manager games like the night before, whatever. Maybe by that point we'll be so well entrenched with these guys that we just be like, hey, you guys finish the manager game, and then we'll do the media game.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll hop in there, afterwards in the practice facilities. No big deal. We'll clean up after ourselves, and that would be a lot of fun. Which, by the way, I just saw a tweet go out from KSR.
Yeah,
and it says, "Wow, all right, everybody, listen to this. According to Matt Norlander, Kentucky is believed to be dedicating 45% of its $20.5 million revenue sharing budget to men's basketball for 2025-26. So that is $9.225 million, over 3 times what most SEC schools will do. If true, that's a bold move. So Stoops, they're just getting that dude out of there. You just said nobody cares about they don't care about football, they don't care about basketball. 45%. That's wild, man. We thought if there was one school that might go higher for basketball than football, and that was based on those averages. People saying like, 70% or whatever, at least to football. And we were thinking, maybe they'll give a little bit more for basketball. No, they are going in for Kentucky basketball. That's crazy.
Well, we always talk about basketball school. Who's a basketball school? If you need proof of what's a basketball school, say what you want about Kentucky. Kentucky's a basketball school. And if you need proof, that's right there. Nobody is doing that.
Some of the percentages that you heard at Arkansas, what was it for men's basketball? 20 or 25?
20. It was 70, 20, 10 was my understanding. So, which I think is probably going to be, I wouldn't say the majority of every SEC school, but most of them I think we're going to be in there. Everyone's going to do the majority of football, except for, I guess, Kentucky, which, with pretty much there. But some, I know from my understanding, talking with some people at SEC Media Days, there's going to be some schools that are like 90% football, 5-5, if that. Or baseball, if it's not a revenue generating, they're like, you're out. Like, we don't care. But then there's places like, LSU, for instance, which they have a lot of sports, but I don't think they care about basketball. So they're like, football and baseball. We want a fall and a spring, and that's all we care about. Give us a good fall and a good spring, and everything else can just take care of itself. So
like one of two things has to happen. Then like if you're Cal and you're Arkansas and you're looking at that, or like Nate Oates and Alabama, whoever, and you really want to compete, like you've got to then be in there with Remy and everybody else and be like, are you seeing this? We need to get up there. And I'm not saying Arkansas would ever need to match the 45%, frankly. And this is speaking bold here. I don't think Arkansas needs to match Kentucky's revenue share allocation to be able to be better than them in basketball. But I'd be talking about like, how do we get from 20 to 25? Or you just have to be really locked in with your NIL deals.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the great equalizer.
And I'll also throw this in there, Curtis. I know I'm, of course, not talking about any specific school, but, there are going to be some schools that are spending more than the $20.5 million in certain athletics. And there are going to be some schools that spend more in basketball and a lot of money in basketball, to which is going to make people think, well, hold on a second. How are you able to get all these great players and all this great amount. But if you're only doing 10%, 15% in basketball, the places I could tell you be like, no, we're doing 45%. Oh, okay. Because I'm sure the 45%, that's it. It's all they're spending. No more money. No, nothing more than that. But at least it's almost like a pointing to thing of everybody like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, everybody else is spending 70% of it going to football. How in the world are you allowed to get that money? Oh, no, we did it for basketball. We spend double of whatever, even though it's not to that point. I think it's just also, in my opinion, a great recruiting tool because I always try to look at a perception. People, players, future players see that back. Oh, so they go all in on basketball. So they're going to have money for me. I'm going to be always interested in Kentucky because I know that they're going to spend on it. But
yeah, right.
I don't know. I just feel like reports come out, which is great by Tyler Thompson and KSR, but it's just always look at it as there's a reason why that number's coming out. There's a reason why somebody told them that. There's a reason why they put it out. It's always about that. So
yeah. No, that's exactly right. They're trying to be the Yankees or the Dodgers or whatever. The rent-a-ring BBN over there. We'll see if it works out for them. You see this from On3?
Just retweeted it.
All this stuff is just happening for us today.
Yeah, wow. I'm telling you, what a day. Real quick, folks. This is just random, but still a story. On3 reports, I guess Ross Dellinger reports, but it's a tweet from On3 that Memphis has made a $200 million offer to join the Big 12. Tell me you're not desperate without telling me that you're not desperate. Some places, I could be wrong, like Oklahoma and Texas when they joined the SEC. I think it was more about like, hey, here's what we're going to offer you, or here's our deal. I don't think Texas and Oklahoma ever had to be like, hey, SEC, we'll give you $200 million to join. That's what Memphis is wanting to do. $200 million just to join a major conference. How about that?
Yeah, it's so funny that if you click the link, it just says Memphis reportedly offered a $200 million offer to the Big 12 to enter the conference, according to Yahoo Sports' Ross Dellinger. According to the report, it's currently not enough support at the moment. So the Big 12 is like, it's going to take more than that, folks.
What? Okay, I know we got other things, but we got to talk about what is it about Memphis? Like, why are people, when the whole conference realignment was really cooking, I kept thinking, like, why is Memphis not getting a look at least? Houston got it, UCF got it, and I know that there's probably a lot of different things going on, but I just never understood Memphis. Great basketball program, figuratively speaking. Football's always been really good. It's in a good sized city, television market, I have just never understood why people have been apprehensive or maybe not trying to add Memphis. I'm not saying the SEC should, but you tell me they couldn't help the Big 12 or something like that, or the ACC. I don't know. I just thought it was strange.
Yeah. And I hope that I don't have this mixed up, but I've heard Gary Parrish talk about this a lot. He's a Memphis guy and he's got a radio show down there, but he does the college basketball podcast I listen to all the time. But it seemed like there was some momentum from the new Pac-12 that they're putting together to try to get Memphis in there. But Memphis didn't want to do that. It's like they were out on that. And part of the thought process was they were holding out for when the ACC expands again.
Got you.
If and when that ever happens. But now maybe they didn't get the feedback they wanted and they're trying to buy their way into the Big 12. So
I get it, but that's such a lame thing. It's sad. It's like you're begging to join a major conference where you're willing to give $200 million and they still say no. They're like, nah, no, you can't even scratch the surface with that. You're not even worth that. Man, that's crazy. How about that? And also another one real quick. This was not as significant. I just thought it was interesting. But I don't know what happened today where NIL and revenue sharing reports to start popping up. But this, according to the Eagle, College Station Eagle in Texas A&M, Texas A&M student athletes received a combined $51.4 million in compensation of NIL from July 1st of 2024 to June 30th of 2025. So in a full year, athletes got $51.4 million. Men's sports received a total combined of $49.2 million. Women's sports received a combined $2.2 million.
That's tough, man.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just saying it shows you about, the revenue generating sports. Those are the ones that are going to get the money. And I'm sure there's a breakdown. Maybe there's a breakdown of what football was, but I guarantee you that the vast majority of that was football, I would think.
Well, yeah, I would imagine that's probably the case. And I wonder exactly how all that came about, like how much of it was from whatever their collective is compared to some other things, because that's $30 million more than what you can do now with revenue share. And of course, if they're doing legitimate NIL dealings that go through that clearinghouse or whatever, maybe they can make up for it. But that's a lot of money. I'm not surprised to hear that with the women's sports. It's like, yeah, again, like it's no shade or whatever. It's just kind of one of those deals. And I know it's a big hot topic with the WNBA now from the All-Star weekend and all that. I get it, but at the same time, it is, I mean, it's a revenue based thing. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's the current state of things, and we just got to deal with it, man. We just got to deal with it. So either way, but yeah, we're going to get into more of your chats, folks, and good stuff coming in for NIL and conferences. And who says talking season has nothing interesting to talk about? So
tell you what,
we'll get into some things and highlights and lowlights of the weekend as we have our best and worst of the weekend, presented by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty. Why wait months or even years to sell your home the traditional way? Because at Looper Auction and Realty, they offer a faster and smarter option. Sell your home at auction. No repairs, no contingencies, no drawn-out negotiations. You set the terms, buyers compete, and you walk away with a firm closing date. Whether it's your home, an estate, or investment property, the auction method puts you in control, and it gets it sold fast, which is what you want to do. You don't want to wait around. You don't want to deal with stuff. You want to get done fast. So let them do it with Looper Auction and Realty. You can call them today at 479-996-4848. That's 479-996-4848. Or you can visit looperauction.com. It's Looper Auction and Realty. Sold in 30, closed in 30. All right, so for our best and worst of the weekend, I have a few of them, but we can just go back and forth, Curtis, and it's just me and you today. But best of the weekend for this, I meant to bring this up Friday, and that's on me for not doing it. That's totally on me. But I want to say one of the best things that I saw was here. Shout out to Andrew Armstrong getting engaged over the weekend, former Razorback wide receiver. Now, what makes it significant is obviously it's cool if somebody gets engaged, but Mama Armstrong, as we know, because Mama Armstrong and Papa Armstrong are very big fans of Inside Arkansas. So we always appreciate. She's the one that sent me the videos and images of this. I would play the video, but there's copyright music and everything in it. But it was a really cool moment, and him getting engaged. And also, I believe he just posted a picture of him in his Dolphins gear too.
He sure did.
Yeah. So I was going to try to pull that one up as well.
I'm already on it.
Okay, good. Yeah, there you go. So, but which is also really cool. So yeah, big. If you want to say best of the weekend, how about that for right here, Andrew Armstrong getting engaged, getting suited up with the Dolphins. Guy looks good, and I don't know what color that is for the Dolphins, but teal.
Is that right? I don't know. I'm really bad with the colors. I may or may not be colorblind. I don't know.
It's a bluish, greenish, whatever it is. It's good, but either way, big weekend for Andrew Armstrong. Guy deserves it. A guy that didn't get drafted, even though I feel like he should have. A guy that was leading in receptions and in receiving yards, did not get first team All SEC, and a guy that only had one touchdown catch. He just jumped into the end zone one time last year, which is just a travesty. But either way, I want to give a shout out to our guy and our friend to the show and the family to the show of Andrew Armstrong having a big weekend for himself.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Really, really happy for him. Happy to see that. Was cool to see him in the Dolphins uni. I just have a feeling he's going to be one of those guys that winds up sticking and making a career for himself in the NFL. So that's very, very cool. Happy for him. If we're doing the Pro Hogs thing, a couple shout outs that could be given. One, I think Jordan Walsh has earned that for his last couple weeks. Did you know that he is officially the all-time leading scorer in the Summer League for the Boston Celtics?
I did not know that. Is that real?
Apparently so. And I don't know if that's something you want to like get a trophy for or like a medal, but the point is he had a really good summer and he just looked good, man. It looks like he's really starting to develop. Just looks more confident, more decisive, got a little more stuff to him as we saw when he got kicked out of that game. But the way I look at it with Walsh, man, this is kind of a weird gap year for Boston, right? Like Jason Tatum's out with that injury. He's not going to play all year. Some of the vets that have been on that team are gone. So there's going to be a role to be had. And I look at Walsh as a guy that they drafted, trying to get closer to that second contract type of stuff there. And maybe this is an opportunity for him to really carve out a role for himself. So I hope that works out for him. I want to give him a shout out. Do we get to count Caleb Battle as a Pro Hog?
Hey, he wore the jersey.
He wore the jersey. He got to play in the summer league for the Suns. I think he had like 21, 24, something like that the other day. But you just know that dude is capable, especially like in a setting like that. He can get hot and rattle off a bunch of points, and he did in a game. So I thought that was really cool too. So definitely want to give both of those guys a shout out. Caleb Battle, he's a pro hog in my heart. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Same here. Also, I have a few other quick ones, but shout out to John Daly Jr., John Daly II. I want to give him a shout out as he was able to win the Southern Amateur which is the 119th Southern Amateur, by the way. Was able to get it with a 72 hole total of 278, which was 10 under. And he did at the Blessings Golf Club, place that I would love to play at, but never will because I suck. But either way, he had a great weekend, finished the rounds with 70, 71, 69, 68. And with that, he earns a berth to the 125th U.S. Amateur Championship played at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. So shout out to JD Jr. and following in old dad's footsteps and making that happen. Also, I want to bring this on, play this clip real quick. The memes going around with that couple at the Coldplay concert. Mm-hmm. Some of them been funny, some of them not so much, as you all know. But I did really like this one where they take it to a next step in the Philly Fanatic, which it just I have to play this because it cracks me up so much. I appreciate it so much. So you have the kiss cam going on and everything. It's great. Just like normal stuff. I guess they weren't going to kiss, but and they're playing Coldplay in the background. I'm trying to make sure it's muted so we don't get demonetized here. But simple things. Oh, isn't this great? And then
that's crazy.
And then suddenly like, whoop. Anyway, it's just
that's crazy.
Like that gets me, man, every time. I don't know why. Mascots doing things just makes me laugh and happy. But that was one of my favorite memes from the whole couple deal. So
that's wild, man. Yeah, some of those have been really, really funny. I saw the one with Sam Pittman in the Liberty Bowl trophy. And, like, I've just seen a good handful. There's been some really good St. Louis Cardinals ones that have been put out there too. Anytime you get a viral moment like that, you hate to be the person that went viral, especially given their situation there. But man, it makes for some good content on the backside of it for sure.
I know we said it, but if they just acted normal, nobody knows.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nobody.
Maybe somebody who knows them, notices or whatever. But
yeah.
The freak out got you, man.
Yep. That's how it happens.
Let me ask you a question. I'm thinking about something we were just talking about.
Yeah.
If we're embracing Caleb Battle as a pro hog
for
his summer league appearance, John, if KJ Jefferson comes in at quarterback in a preseason game in the next year or two, do we then embrace KJ Jefferson as a pro hog?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
Of course. Yeah. It's not that I don't like KJ Jefferson. I was one of the people that voted for him to be first or second team all SEC this 2023, which I know it didn't work out, but it was like him and Jaden Daniels were really the only ones I voted for him. I had never had a problem with KJ Jefferson. It was just unfortunate that he holds the all-time record that's probably never going to get broken, and the way it ended and how he moved on to another school, it just, and that the fact that he surpassed Matt Jones, it was just all that into it that just kind of feels weird. That's all it is. It just doesn't, like, I think of Matt Jones and I think of Brandon Allen and Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson and all those guys as, just true 100% hogs in Arkansas and everything. And KJ, love KJ, have no problem with KJ, but just never doesn't feel the same. It just feels different. Doesn't feel the same. That's all. So, did you have any more best, or do you want to move on to worst?
Well, I'll throw one more in here, and it's basketball related. I was looking for a place to fit this in, but over the weekend, Cal was out there at Peach Jam, and we kind of know who all the primary targets are for Arkansas and the guys who have offers and the ones that they've been really pursuing and prioritizing heavily. But then he popped out to a couple games throughout the course of the weekend where there wasn't anybody with an Arkansas offer or whatever. And so on the Pod the Palace, we're like, I wonder who he might be there watching. Then when he was on the broadcast with Fanta and those guys, he was saying, this is, there's some kids who are on my radar now that weren't, and some guys who are better than I thought they were. So it was making it sound like, we might get out of Peach Jam here and then they're going to start throwing out an offer or two to some other guys. And the one that we identified on Chris Paul's team, CP3, is this kid named Cole Clower. And he's just a 6'7" wing, top 25 player in the class, but one of the better shooters in the country. And for an Arkansas team that just hasn't had that in a long time, it's kind of refreshing to see a guy out there just knocking down threes. He got the Arkansas offer last night. And so he watched him a couple times. The kid balled out. He looked good and got an Arkansas offer. And so now you're in a little bit of a competition there, late to the game, but like Alabama, Florida, some other schools, but a good player. He was fun to watch over the weekend. Got that Arkansas offer right after Cal, sit there and watched him ball out for a couple games. So I thought that was cool.
Real quick, before we get to reversed, I just know why I thought of this. This is just a question I have. Do you think Cal does not have a very close friend in any city that has an NBA team? Like, do you think that he goes to like Minneapolis, even though I love saying it wrong apparently, but going up there and just like, does you think he doesn't have a very close best friend up there? He's like, hey, George, I want to talk to you. I just feel like that guy, every major city he goes to, he's got somebody that's a close friend that he goes to dinner with no matter what.
Oh, he 100% has that.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. He knows somebody literally everywhere.
Yep. That's what makes him Cal, man. So it makes him Cal. All right. Worst of the weekend. I'm going to bring this up, and I saw some of this talking about like our guy Dre. Appreciate the super chat, Dre. He's like, worst of the week was WNBA hitting their meal ticket. Like Caitlin Clark, his worst was WNBA. Appreciate the super chats and everything. That's was going to be one of my deals. Is I'm not sitting here going to talk about the WNBA all the time because we don't do that. Like that's not our market. That's not our demo. Like it's just more of athletes that. And transcending athletes, because there's some people, for instance, nobody gave a rip about the Tour de France. But as soon as Lance Armstrong was in there, it became a thing. No one cared about swimming and the Olympics as much. But when you had somebody, now his name just escaped me. Holy crap, the swimmer, the guy that won all the Olympic medals.
Michael Phelps.
Yes, it's Michael Phelps. Thank you. I'm bad with the names. But either way, people start caring more because it was a transcending of sports. But this Caitlin Clark thing, I have never seen anything like it. The amount of people within their own league of the WNBA that just find ways to be mean. And I get like if you don't like her, I get if you think that she's getting too much attention. But over the weekend, it was the All-Star game. Didn't watch it, but Kelsey Plum, I went viral for this because they had these shirts that said, pay us what we're owed. And this was her response and just needlessly just threw a shot in at Caitlin Clark.
Well, it was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just United Front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But
anyway, the rest of it doesn't matter. But I'm just like, why? Like, what is this? I don't get it. I do not understand how someone who has helped your league be as popular and is the reason, I don't care what anybody says, it's the reason your league is as popular as it's ever been, that can give you money, that can give you more fame, that can give all these things. You trash her at every turn. I don't get it. I'll never understand it. And it's just sad. Because I don't know Caitlin Clark or anything, but I also don't feel like she's done anything to where she came in and was like, I'm better than everybody else. Like, I just never got that vibe. So I don't know. It's just a very weird thing that every time I see something, I'm just kind of like, God, y'all just keep burying yourselves and making it worse on yourselves. Just enjoy it in the fact that your league is as popular as it's ever been, and it's because of her.
Yeah. She didn't come in acting like she was better than everybody else. She just was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's really, really good. And I think some of it is probably, especially with the vets in that league, I'm sure there's a level of, like we've been doing this for a long time and been a star in this league for years, and it hasn't gotten the attention that we feel like it should. Then here comes this rookie, and all of a sudden it's a big deal, and she's getting all the credit, but I've been doing this for however long. Like, I'm sure there's a level of jealousy or whatever that's involved with that, or it doesn't sit well. And then the whole situation itself, which I don't know that it's Caitlin Clark's fault, but it falls back on her. And then so she starts catching the shade from it or whatever. I guess that's probably a big part of it. I don't know, but yeah, that's an irritating deal. What was also, I don't know if this happened to you. Maybe it's just my algorithm. I don't know if I watched like one of the highlights from the All-Star thing or whatever, but all weekend, my entire timeline was filled with not not the All-Star, not the festivities, but it was like, oh, here's Paige Beckers and like her girlfriend out at the club, and oh, here's Caitlin Clark and it's like they were doing these live streams or something, and people were clipping this specific live stream. I couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. Like, I'm glad they're all hanging out for All-Star weekend and everything, but like, I'm trying to see what's going on with the Razorbacks or the Summer League or whatever. Like, I couldn't escape it. Whatever this, I don't know if it was like a 4-day long live stream or what it was, but the clips of that, man, I couldn't get away from them.
Between that and then I just, for whatever reason, was scrolling, and then I see like 3 different times, like Caitlin Clark comes up and hanging out with her boyfriend, and it's like in the tunnels before the game, and I'm like,
yes, that
why
one.
am I
Yes,
looking at this? Like, what is the point of this? Cool.
that's great.
I don't know, man. Social media, there's algorithms. I know we're on it, but man, we need to figure out the algorithm to get that going and get in people's timelines. Just figure out how to just make it to where we're doing just nothing and everyone has to see it and look at it. I don't know.
Yeah, man, that was wild.
Yeah. But that was the worst of the weekend for me.
Gotcha. This is kind of a best and worst of the weekend. Best of the weekend, and I don't know if you saw it or know who this is. You probably, actually, I'm pretty sure you know who this is. But Manny Pacquiao, 46 years old, and was in a championship, a title boxing match. And that's awesome. Like, just for him to be at that age and just out there competing and to have that opportunity, that's really, really cool. I thought he was like still doing the Jackie Moon thing as like the player, owner, coach of that Philippines basketball, whatever league. Yep. But the dude's still fighting. That's best of the weekend. I think it's awesome. And he looked great doing it, which leads to the worst of the weekend, because I think a lot of people really thought that he won that fight. Based on their personal cards or whatever, that he did enough to win. Which, could you imagine that? Just being able to wrap a belt around your waist at 46 or whatever, which would be really cool. But didn't get it. It wound up being, it was like the majority draw or whatever. So a very controversial decision there, and that happens a lot, man, in boxing, and it's always kind of been that way. So that creates issues or whatever. But had to give a shout out to Manny, because that's crazy. I couldn't imagine doing something like that, being that old. Like that's the age of the dudes that Jake Paul knocks out usually. Yep. And he's competing for world championships, which is sick. But to kind of get low key robbed from after training for it and having that opportunity and performing the way that he did, definitely kind of qualifies as a worst, in my opinion.
Well, and I was also going to throw this in. I thought you were going to do it, but we can make it a thought. How about this?
Yeah, dude.
The new American Conference mascot. What is happening here? Okay. Like, listen, I know that you got to be different. You try to do unique. This looks like the way he's walking like this. I don't know what this is. Like, as a football player, why are they walking like this if you're going to do it that way? And then 2, the smirk on his face. It looks like he's just like kind of like strutting after letting off a fart at a bus stop. And he's just like, yep, I just crop dusted everybody. Like, what is that?
My favorite thing about this is the AAC, their Twitter account, their X account, has been teasing like all weekend. Like, eyeball emoji, here's the hourglass, big news coming. And so everybody's like, oh wow, it's more conference realignment. They're gonna be adding teams to the conference, whatever. This is great. And it was just going from the American Athletic Conference to the American Conference. And then they've got this mascot now named SOAR. Like, do conferences have mascot? Does the SEC have a mascot?
I don't think so.
This is unbelievable. And it's just this jacked eagle. This cracks me up though, because this is one of the things, like, you see people like to put out like the manly things or whatever. And people will quote tweet and be like, man looks at this and says, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably do that. Yeah, man, jacked eagle, America, baby, let's go. I just don't understand what they're trying to do here.
I don't like, why is he smirking? Like, that's the thing, is Eagles never smirk. And I feel like Eagles are pretty intimidating in a way if they're, got that serious, like, eyeballing look. But over here, it's like, we're just going to put a little smirk on him. Like, he's having a good time. He's having fun. He's like smirking at everybody, be like, "Ha! You thought it was going to be a really cool mascot, but how about this?" And that's the smirk he gives. But man, just I don't get it. Whatever.
Hunter said, "No wonder Memphis wants to leave." I mean, honestly,
Yep.
that's that thing is ridiculous. And I also love that they the way that they rebranded like the actual logo of the conference, where it's American, but it has the A just really colored in the blue, and then all the rest of the lettering's in white. It gives off very America vibes in that picture there. So it's a full on rebrand, man. And congratulations on the mascot. I guess it'll go to media day and the conference tournaments or championship games. I don't know.
I don't get it, but to each their own. If they want to do that, they should have just gotten like the Hulk Hogan, like guitar playing, fire blowing up, like just go full America. Just have all the ridiculousness of everything that you could possibly have, and just do it that way. Yeah,
Insane.
yeah, don't get it. But all right, we'll get to your chats, folks. But we also, of course, get into fun as we get close to wrapping up the show here, and it's with our Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas friends that we'll get to some of our boat topics. I mean, this past weekend, I know there was a lot of people on the lake, and you're going to continue to try to get on the lake. I mean, let's be honest. It's warm outside. It's hot outside. You want to be next to a body of water. Well, luckily for you, the Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas has you covered because they give you the access to the boats without the commitment here in Arkansas. All you got to do is make an appointment. You show up, you leave with that boat, and then you come back in, and that's it. No maintenance. Don't worry about the slip. Don't worry about anything like that. They take care of you. They make it stress-free, and they have 3 locations in Arkansas, Greers Ferry Lake, as well as Lake Hamilton, and even the river down there in Little Rock, with new locations coming soon. But they're going to make your summer the best one yet. So check out their website at freedomboatclubar.com today. That's freedomboatclubar.com to learn more about the benefits of joining Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. And fun fact, we will be doing a live show at the Freedom Boat Club August 13th on a Wednesday. We're going to do it on a boat. So we're pretty pumped by that. Don't know how it's going to go logistically, but we're going to find a way. We're going to do it, and I can't wait. It's going to be exciting and we appreciate them being partners. And that was one of the things when I first talking to them about partnering with us, was like, I want to do a show on a boat. I've always wanted to do a show on a boat. Not many people can say they did, but we're going to say we did, and we're going to do it August 13th down there in Hot Springs. Can't wait.
I really can't wait for this. We've had a lot of really cool setups and a lot of memorable live shows. I just have a feeling that this one is gonna take the cake, for better or worse. It's gonna be electric. I can't wait for it.
Yep, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. All right, so
which, by the way, and I'm not trying. Look, let me be clear. I'm not trying to out you with Freedom Boat Club here. Were you on a boat this weekend? Did I see John Neighbors out on the lake?
I was on a boat.
Okay, all right.
I was on a boat. I was down there at Lake Hamilton. I figured I had some friends that a friend of mine's family has a lake house, and they've been wanting me to come down there, but I haven't had time. And I was like, well, I'm coming back. I'm driving from Atlanta. I got to go through Little Rock. Might as well make a quick little jump down there on Hamilton to go out for a day. And luckily the weather was nice. It was great. It was a good time. Appreciate them. But yeah, I was out on a boat.
Okay. Good for you, man.
And it's the best thing because I know somebody with a boat, and it's like just a thing you can jump on. But that's what Freedom Boat Club kind of does for you, is like you know somebody with a boat, Freedom Boat Club, and you can just jump on there with it, and you don't have to worry about all the maintenance and everything. But yeah, we're gonna be doing some cool stuff with them. Can't wait. Let's get into some of these questions real quick. We'll get to your chats as well. But just for the sports side of things too, I had a curiosity. I keep saying best at first because I don't want to start that argument. Everyone's got different years that they've been around, so it's just favorite. So what is your favorite overtime win in Razorback sports history, or maybe the first one that comes up to you, Curtis? I know you're a basketball guy if one does, but what's the overtime win that you always remember?
Well, my mind has immediately gone football here.
Oh.
Honestly, in terms of, okay, let me categorize this. In terms of games covered as an astute media member, walking off LSU in Death Valley a few years ago, the Cam Little, that was pretty sweet. And that was the 9-win year, so like the team was good and everything. That was a lot of fun. But let me think about this for just a second. Like the 7 OT game with Ole Miss, that was awesome. I actually personally enjoyed the Kentucky one a couple years later, even better, because it was 24-24 at the end of regulation. Then the final was 71-63. It was like a basketball score, and that was Matt Jones versus
Jared Lorenzen
quarterback. Yeah, Jared Lorenzen, exactly. So that was a lot of fun. Um, I got to tell you, and it's weird if you think about like the context and everything, but the win at TCU, I guess it would have been 2016.
Yep.
Was awesome. Double overtime. I really, really enjoyed that one. Man, there's a lot of really good ones though.
Mhm.
Shoot, 2006 Bama. Was it 2006?
The Lee Tiffin game?
Yes.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. No, those are good ones. I think Michael Quall's putback dunk was an overtime game. That one stood out to me. The TCU game, I think the one you mentioned gets overlooked all the time. That game was
awesome
insane.
game. Yeah.
Right? Because Arkansas got up early. Cole Headland doinked a field goal, and every Arkansas fan knew, like, all right, here it comes. And sure enough, you get down. The Trevor, was it Trevor? Not Trevor Knight. Hill was his last name. Kenny Hill.
Kenny, that's right.
They call him Kenny the Trill Hill. They score a touchdown to get the go ahead, but he does the slash with his neck, which was a penalty, gets a penalty called on him. So they have to kick off closer to Arkansas. And it ends up, they end up going back and tying the game. But then for some reason, Brett Bielema decides to kick off to Turpin, the guy that was like the number one. I think it was Turpin. I always get him and the Texas A&M player mixed up. But either way, one of the best kick returners in the country, goes all the way, gets in field goal range. Then Dan Skipper blocks the field goal to win it for them, and it goes into overtime. Just chaos, man. Absolute chaos. So that was a great one. I think 07-0 LSU, the triple overtime game with McFadden was great. Basketball, man. I think it was the Tennessee game that we always reference, that 2017 basketball game against Tennessee. I'm pretty sure that went to overtime.
That one was awesome.
Yeah. So
shout out to that was a really good, and that's the strangest thing because didn't it wind up being like a 2-point game or something in the end, and that's after Arkansas had just jumped all over them and got maybe even been a double-digit lead there.
They were up by 11 points with less than a minute to go.
Yeah,
by 2.
Crazy, man. But yeah, that was a big. I don't think it was a windmill game, but it was a big Gafford dunk moment in there that was super loud. That was a really, really fun game. Shout out to Anton Beard, but
that 3. Well, even like basketball wise too, there's been some overtime games that have been fun, like this last year's Texas Tech. Because Texas Tech went to overtime, right? In tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes,
but just saying there's been some, say what you want about Arkansas and history and all that, or being clutch or not clutch. Arkansas in overtime, for the most part, feels, I don't even know if it's true, but just feels like they're more successful than not in overtime in most sports. I'm just saying.
Well, now, a couple. Now, was that the Auburn?
Yep.
That was overtime.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Which was insane. Yeah. And so that would be very, very high up there on the list for basketball. But then low key, San Diego State in Maui.
Oh yeah.
The Monty Johnson game.
Yeah.
That, and then the mayhem afterwards, like that would be really high up there on the list for basketball overtime games, especially recently.
Yeah. No, those are great ones. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm sure there's been overtime games we've deleted from our memory that we don't even remember losses of overtime, but golly, it just feels like for the most part. Because another one, football. I remember the Auburn quadruple overtime game in Fayetteville in 2015. Like the only one time you beat Gus Malzahn while he was at Auburn. But like that one was great. So either way, what sparked that, by the way, folks, is because today you're 40 days away from Razorback football, and I posted a video of Jermaine Petty, number 40, having the stop on that 7 overtime game. And before we go on to the next question, I just want to say this. I know that 7 overtime game between A&M and LSU changed the rules a few years ago, and everyone's like, we can't have this anymore. I still think people can't grasp the insanity that Arkansas football played in a 7 overtime game, 6 overtime game, 7 overtime game in 3 consecutive years. That's just an insane thing. Like nobody's gotten close to that ever. And Arkansas has been in 3 of them in 3 straight years, and Matt Jones was the quarterback for all of them. Just
absurd,
insane.
Man.
Yeah,
absurd.
Just an insane thing people got to remember. All right, so as far as the food side of things too, when you were a kid, what was your go-to item to buy when the ice cream truck came around? Did you have like a go-to thing? Were you an ice cream truck guy?
Man, yeah. No, I definitely was. Listen, I'm pretty versatile when it comes to the ice cream truck here. The go-to I'm a drumstick guy.
Oh, yeah, you go wrong with that.
Yeah, hands down, my clear favorite, no doubt about it. That's the go-to. So that's your answer for me.
Yep.
But I'm a big ice cream sandwich guy, like just a standard ice cream sandwich. I would do a lot of things for a Klondike bar. I'm a big Klondike bar guy. My dad used to get them and put them in the freezer all the time, and which was where they need to be because they're ice cream. But would dig into those things, man. Love those. But there's one, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it's the vanilla ice cream on the popsicle stick, and it's covered in chocolate. But it's almost like the Crunch Bar chocolate.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what the heck it's called, but it's really good. It can't be just the smooth chocolate though. It's got to have the extra little crunch to it.
Yes, I know what you're talking about though. Those are great. I got same thing with like the Choco Tacos. I remember I was a big fan of the Choco Tacos.
Used to have them at Taco Bell.
Yeah, and they got rid of those. But that was great. I was just like a push pop guy too, like the little orange push pops. I think is what they're called.
Oh yeah, the Flintstones things. Yeah, those are good.
Flintstones. Those are good. And somebody on Twitter said it, and I was the same way. There was that baseball glove with the little gumball in it. Like looked cool because I was into baseball at that time. So that was pretty great.
What about, were you oh goodness gracious, with like the Bomb Pop? You like the Bomb Pop?
Remind me what it is.
It's like the red, white, and blue popsicle.
Oh yeah, right. For sure.
Yeah, those are good. Also, and honestly, this would probably be top 3 on my list, is just the M&M ice cream sandwich. Like the M&M cookies, the ice cream in the middle. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I know what they are. I just don't remember what they're called, But yeah, you remember seeing them and having friends get different ones, man. Yeah. Ice cream trucks, man, is just like running for my mom and dad. Just be like, I need money now.
They're still in my neighborhood, man.
Really?
I don't know if you hear the ice cream truck. We don't live that far from each other, but they're in my neighborhood every other day. It looks very, very sketchy though. I know that they've got a reputation, but it's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
Like when the kiddo's going to arrive here in a couple months, and I don't know that we're going to be flagging down this ice cream truck in my neighborhood. So
yeah, it's different time. Times have changed.
We'll go to like a snow cone stand or something.
There you go. Yeah. Something a little bit more controlled.
Yeah.
And finally, this one is more for fans because I don't even know like how much opinions we'll have on it. But just entertainers, like, what song should Razorback Football play to get fans hyped before the Hogs run out of the tunnel? Because this has been an ongoing debate of what should be played. I know that War Pigs has been, I think, one of the more new ones. Mm-hmm. But it just made me think, playing the college football video game and seeing stuff and seeing these cool stuff that people do before their teams run out. Arkansas's tried different stuff. Some things have been better than others, but it just makes me wonder if anybody has a specific song they feel like would be the best and cool to run out to.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what people think here. My immediate thought, because here's the thing, if it's not your team, then this comes across as cringe. But if it is, then you love it. So for example, when we were in Lexington at Rupp, and before intros and everything, they were playing Lamont Butler's rap song or whatever. And I remember sitting there with Andrew like, this is stupid, man. This is the cringiest thing I've ever heard. Here's what they need to do. It just needs to be the Yeah Coach, the remix for this year's team. And Travis Williams does the defensive verse. And then Bobby Petrino does the offensive verse. In fact, you should do the impersonation of it at some point here. We'll work on that. That could be your homework assignment for tomorrow. And it could just be, yeah, coach. Get everybody going. The whole crowd would be doing, yeah, coach. And then they run out there.
Yeah, coach. Yeah, coach. Yeah, coach. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be all about that. He would love having that. No, I mean, I think that'd be at least worth a shot. It's always about the response. I'll admit I got some horrible, horrible recommendations from this question on social media, at least.
Okay.
Awful. Like, this is Caleb saying, hear me out, Ring of Fire. No. Like, I love Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, but we're not doing that one. Assuming that's what the one he's referring to.
That's like a wrestling intro.
Yeah.
Something, like.
And then Jonathan says, Seven Nation Army. No. We're not doing that. And then like somebody says, Garen says Heat Waves. I love Heat Waves, but that's not, you got to think it's it's not a walkout song. It's a fire you up, get you, and then once the thing pops, everyone explodes. Like it's a build-up song. So got to remember this. I was like, no wonder we can't agree on anything. We just got people coming out here saying 7 Nation Army. Come on.
Yeah, there's a difference in the run out song and the right before kickoff song.
Yes.
And that's what people have to like. The run out song is kind of about getting the fans hype, like, oh, the anticipation is building for the team to come out here. But the pre-kickoff song, I think that needs to be more about the players actually, because there's nothing that gets me going more than right before kickoff I get a little irritated with it if you stink or like if you're down 21-0 in the first quarter and you're doing it, but right before kickoff, like where the team's bouncing around and they're waving their towels around, it's like they're fired up, ready to play. So that needs to be something more that resonates with the players. And that just depends on like the personality of your team every year. But big distinguishment between right before the team runs out and right before the game starts.
Yep. Because I've always felt that if there's a way, because it's part of your hype video, they'll play a hype video for the fans and that song's going to be a part of it. But one of the best ones they ever had was when they were doing 2001 A Space Odyssey with it going through the planets, but that's old school. But either way, I've always felt like if you could find an epic version rendition thing of In the Air Tonight, when it's a night game, I think that by Phil Collins, with those drums hit, just saying it would be pretty cool. But
that would be cool. No, that would be awesome. I kind of like what they do with basketball sometimes. Like it's kind of right after you have intros and you break the huddle and it's like, we ready. And then right before, like the ref is coming up there for the jump ball and all of a sudden they're doing the whoop that trick. It just cracks me up that they play that right before the jump ball. But I kind of like it though. It just makes me laugh. But if I was a player, I would laugh at that time.
Oh yeah. I respect stuff like that. Like the Ludacris's move,
Yeah.
Like they'll edit it out. Some places, or at least when I was in high school, they would edit out that, but everyone knew the lyrics. So all it'd be is Ludacris saying move. And then the rest of the audience would be, bitch. Like
exactly.
Do stuff like that. All right. We'll get to some of your final chats here, folks, before we roll out of here for the day. Shout out to Fishman. Sorry, I saw your super chat, but he says, we just need some chicken man under the table, brown bag specials and some offshore bank accounts.
Don't worry about that. Yeah, they've got that covered, man. And everybody knows the whole PayPal Cal thing and all that. And I'm sure there's some truth to it, but when John Calipari is having some random dude in a baseball cap meet Hunter Yurachek in the lobby of a hotel to give him a room key or whatever, when he's that sly about something like that kind of meeting, don't worry about it. if he needs to get money to some of these recruits or whatever, yeah, they've got that covered, whether it's on the up and up or not. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that part of it for Cal and everything. Let's see. Trey says, did you guys see that Kevin Traynor was hired to be the new Associate Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer at the Arkansas Alumni Association? Yes, did see that. Awesome and good for him.
Yes.
I know that circumstances he definitely wishes and would rather been continuing to do what he did with the athletic department, but got a chance to sit down and talk with Kevin for a bit at media days, and dude's a great dude and glad he can still be involved with the university somehow. So
yeah,
very cool there. Also, Big KG just says, perfect segue. Let's set up an Inside Arkansas celebrity boxing match and live stream. And I got the promotion already panned out. Let's get it done. No, I'm not fighting. I'm not getting in a boxing ring. Like, listen, this is the moneymaker. I'm not messing up this face. I can't do that.
Yeah. But if we were just radio, if we were just voices and not faces on your screen, then maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had like the huge, like the overinflated boxing gloves, like almost like the big balloons or whatever, maybe something like that.
Yeah. But even so, it's like
kid gloves.
Yeah. I've never once been like, man, I've always wanted to be in a fight, but I need to be controlled somehow. So let me just get in a fight in the boxing ring. That's not I don't want to do that. It just doesn't sound appealing to me. No one wins in that. Also, a guy Dre says, I've never noticed this, but why is JFK behind John? Oh, it's a flag I have. It just says Johnny Politics at the bottom, and he's smoking a cigarette, we'll say. But either way, it was just a gift. I thought it was I have no idea what it means and significance, but it just was something cool and random. But yeah, that's why.
We're trying to see if you're a conspiracy theory guy like your man Eli Drinkwitz or not, but
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'd say he probably has this flag and some other flags, I'm sure, hanging up in his realm
yeah.
over there. Um, also, like this is one of the first chats from Heartbroken August. Says somehow my recommendation or my recommended continue watching a Pot at the Palace video from over a year ago popped up, and I clicked on it. It was Curtis and Scotty in the old Natty State building. It was all about I was about to in tears, y'all.
I can't even imagine how you got to the point where one of those from from a year ago is recommended, but I can tell you right now, whatever it was electric.
Yep.
If it was me and Scotty in that building, it was during a wild time. It was either Muss, leaving Arkansas high and dry, or Cal coming in or whatever, or it was one of those miserable post games when during that season that was going so bad. So I hope that I get one of those recommended to me one day, because I'm not going to go back and search for them. But if that happens, I'll listen and reminisce a little bit. So.
Yeah, man, that's seems like it was eons ago, and it certainly feels like it now. But
Crazy.
Man, amazing how it's gone. But either way, all right. Well, Curtis, any final thoughts before we roll out here for the day?
Oh, no, not really. Other than appreciate everybody again for hanging out with us here in the dog days of July. But we're getting closer. Camp's right around the corner. We'll be building the anticipation for this football season. But we like talking about some other random things here. It was a fun show today. And make sure you stay tapped into everything else we got going on. Pot at the Palace still every day at 6 a.m. We're talking about different things, and we're trying to keep it as entertaining as possible. And we're definitely getting to the point. You guys noticed that probably over the weekend where I told you we were going to get to the stage of you guys ask questions. You guys have certain things you want to talk about, mailbag style. We're getting to that point. So if you have some things you want to discuss on the show, make sure you hit me up with those. Appreciate you guys.
Also, for my final thought, I don't know if you ever saw this video. I'm just going to play it real quick, but your name's in it, Curtis, and it just made me laugh because of the setup of it. And again, this may be an old video that just got resurfaced, but I just love it.
Knock it out of the ball, Curtis.
Yes.
Get it, Curtis, go! Go, Curtis!
Let's go.
Just made me so happy seeing that this morning. So I was like, it has to be played for Curtis. Just my boy Curtis out there, heavy swinger.
That is exactly what a slide in the home plate would look like if I did it. So
just such grace out there. But that was the only final thought I had, really. But hey, either way, appreciate each and every one of you listening and watching in Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. You can also subscribe to all of our podcasts in audio form, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pot at the Palace, or the Bombastic Podcast. You can check out our social media at Inside Arkansas for all of that as well. And we're going to keep it moving each and every day right here on Inside Arkansas Live. So that does it for us. For Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.